Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, televiewers. Welcome to this first edition of our live program on Vembati Media Center. Some people, Africans, say she was a good woman, while some say she assisted in the killing of many Africans in South Africa and Africa in general. We hear some even say she was very, very duty conscious. But some will be forced to ask, what were the duties that she was so conscious about? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself. Bonjour, bon après-midi, et bonsoir, là où tu es. Guten Morgen, guten Tag, guten Abend. Buenos días, buenas tardes, y buenas noches a todos. I speak all these languages because the colonizers forced us to speak their language. When they colonized us, they did not learn any of the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Itangikom. They never learned any of those languages, but they forced us to speak their own language. My name is whom I call myself, the fearless Don Pasho. And on this media Vembati, we are going to bring you all the fearless informations that other medias won't bring to you. Our topic of discussion today is based on the death of Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom and the legacy she left in Africa. Before we go deep into this program, I want to greet the bravery and salute that of our own Julius Malema of South Africa and one of the fearless youths in Uganda called Bobby Wine. Thank you for standing up for Africa. With me today, I am with one of Ambazonian's finest Scrum Master, one of Ambazonian's finest activists, one of Ambazonian's finest comrade who has been working for Ambazonia. He's none other than Comrade Jaff Marcel. Comrade Jaff Marcel, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the United States, and welcome to this program tonight.
Thank you so much, Don Pasho. Good evening. It's good afternoon here. It's 1:40 p.m. here in Durham, North Carolina. I want to welcome all our viewers from whichever part of Africa you are viewing, whether you are from Durban, South Africa, or you are from Mombasa in Kenya, or you are from Cairo, Egypt, or you are from Dakar, Senegal. You are all welcome, and we are all looking forward to engaging you, our audience, in this topic about the passing away of Queen Elizabeth II. So I'm looking forward to a very lively discussion. By no means this program doesn't cover the scope of everything. It's just a beginning of a conversation that we as Africans, as patriotic Africans, I consider myself a Pan-African, person. So I'm hoping to engage our viewers out there in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother Jaff. You know, we as Africans, like I said in my introduction, many people have been talking about the death of Queen Elizabeth. Some Africans send condolence messages. One of our finest ladies, an Igbo woman in Nigeria, gave out some quotations that I would like us to share on the screen for our viewers to see the first big quotation of this lady and what she wrote concerning what transpired with us Africans. She said, let me get it here. In quotes,
Yeah.
I heard the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying. May her pain be excruciating. When we listen or read such a quote from this Our Lady, her name is Uju Anya, and then we see some other Africans wishing the Queen of England to rest in peace, while some others are putting out such quotes. When you see such issues, my brother Jav, how can you analyze this quote if you were to put something more words into that quote? How do you think we should analyze this?
Well, first of all, this quote has caused somewhat of a ruckus in the social media. Everybody seems to be going after her. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Some people, it's controversial, so to speak. It's interesting, because at the end of the day, what is the main question we need to ask? The main question is this right? Is what she's saying, is it factual? Is she onto something? No matter which side you're coming from. Some, like Jeff Bezos, Jeff Bezos is one of the, if not the richest man. He used to be the richest man in the world. Maybe he still is. But if Jeff Bezos could stop whatever he's doing and come and react to this, you know that what you've said has hit a nerve. What she has said has hit a nerve. And you can see the way she said it. The way she said it is another thing that has hit a nerve. So I would like us to engage and to have a conversation as Africans. What is the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II? Do we look at it like Professor Uju? Maybe we might not use the same language. Some people don't want to use quite that language because we Africans generally, they have a soft spot for when somebody passes away. I understand that. But what is the history? What is the history of, what happened to us in Africa? Queen Elizabeth came to power in 1952. To put things in perspective, in 1952, that is the same year my father was born. That's how long she has been in power.
Wow. And then when we look at it, that is, they brought us democracy. What they term democracy in Africa. They killed our African culture. They killed our African culture. We were being ruled by our kings and chiefs. And they brought what they call democracy. And they have made the democracy in Africa in such a way that we in Africa, we don't even have that democracy because the Westerners, and if we look, most of the English countries, it is more of British policies in those countries. More of British policies. Our own culture, we don't more respect our chiefs and kings. We tend to respect what? Those we say are leaders. Why is it that the British monarch still exists today? But there is no single monarch in Africa. No country in Africa is a monarch. But the British monarch still exists. And then they have now what they coined that a prime minister with no powers. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, absolutely. The British monarch is very, very unique. As a proud person also who comes from a monarchy, but not quite like the British one, the one from Zo. Yes, that is also a fondom. Over there, we don't use the word, king. We use the word fondom, proudly, fond, proudly.
Yeah.
So, but I don't recall any time at which then so monarchy was anywhere around the world, taking over countries, controlling people,
Yeah.
massacring, committing mass murder, having concentration camps, like was in the case in Kenya. Yes, there were concentration camps in Kenya. There is no thing anywhere that any African monarchy did anything even remotely close or even had remotely close to the power of this monarchy. And then when
Yeah.
they came, they said our own monarchy, there was something wrong with it. Theirs
For
was good,
sure.
ours
For
was
sure.
bad. Yes, as we are going to see, we will be coming up with Julius Malema's letter. We are going to see
Yeah.
what the Brits did to King Hinsa of the Koksa tribe down there in South Africa. That was a monarchy, but look at the way he got killed and the body badly mutilated. So you start to wonder, as Africans, is it that monarchy is good when it is Western, and when us is not good, is inferior, is undemocratic, is on everything? Who elected? I mean, for all the Democrats, who elected Queen Elizabeth? Who elected King Charles III? Nobody.
Nobody.
But apparently,
Okay.
yes.
Look
Go
at
ahead.
the inauguration. Look at the inauguration of King Charles today. When you look at what they were doing there, what the type of things that they were doing, for them it is normal. But when it comes to Africa, we do such to inaugurate a king or a chief. It is called rituals. It is termed spiritual rituals. And you will see those people in Africa calling themselves prophets and pastors preaching to their kindreds, to their Christians, not to attend such events. Britain, the, the, the United Kingdom, is the only country in the world that has its own church, its own church, the Church of England. But if an African, we say, let us respect our African culture, it is spiritualism, it is bad, it is evil. We don't have any right for our own culture. We don't have powers over our own culture. They introduced us their religion, forced us. What we call, for example, what we call Calabar Juju in quotes, the Juju, the masquerades that dance in Africa. When they come out, you hear some people who call themselves Christian, blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus. It is my culture. It is your culture. The blood of Jesus that you are carrying on your hand with the Bible, it is the Westerners' culture. It is their own culture. Comrade Jaff, you traveled from Africa to the United States. Let us say, for example, that at that time you in Cameroon, you traveled from Cameroon to the United States. When you got married to your wife, if you could not show them a court wedding certificate, could your wife meet you in the United States of America? Is that
The
our
answer is
culture?
no.
Is that our culture? It's not our culture. We used to do our traditional marriages, but the Westerners don't respect our traditional weddings. And they want us to respect theirs. When you will watch the video that played before this show today, you will ask yourself, look at that was Queen Elizabeth in Africa, feeding Africans like fowls. You know how we used to throw corn to fowls and they're fighting in the yard. That was what they did to our forefathers. I think we should be talking and the image, this image of that woman throwing these things. If you can play that video, let that image be running through, so that our people can see that person and know how can you have how look at the image. Look at how she was feeding our fathers, throwing whatever she was throwing, and they are taking as if it is their oh, this is sad, my dear African brothers, my dear African people. This is sad. Maybe I'm talking too much. I am with someone that maybe you have another side of what I am saying.
Yes, it absolutely is sad just looking at that and looking at the way our people were treated, and to a large extent some of our people, they don't see that we are still being treated the same way, and that our thinking, and that has influenced the way we look at ourselves. It has. We look at ourselves as if we are lesser than them. And that's the reason why this topic right now is so controversial, and that's why the passing of Queen Elizabeth is having mixed reactions in Africa. So I would like us to also look at another quote. There's another quote also from Dr. Dr. Uju. So here's
Yes.
another quote from her. Don Pacho, you can go ahead and read. There's something blocking my view here.
Okay. In this quote, she says again, if anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half of my family, and the consequences of which those alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon a star. Yeah, I don't know if you can come in there again. No.
Again, I would say in pidgin, Igbo woman don't talk. Wow. This is it's important to know. This is not just any Igbo woman. This is a very educated lady. A distinguished professor of Carnegie Mellon University. You can see, whether you agree with her or not, you can see the pain in which she's going through. She's talking to you from personal experience. Those of us who are, proud Ambazonians, we remember the Biafra War because they are our neighbors. This happened very
Yeah.
close to us, right? Or Africans in general, they know that there was such a war as a Biafran war. This lady was affected, and she's telling you that they are still struggling. They haven't even recovered. You can feel the pain dripping from the writing as she's writing this.
I feel her pain.
Question then.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was just saying. Question then is. How do you tell a professor like this one that she should be mourning? How do you do that? How? That's the question. That's the million-pound question. Go ahead.
Yeah, a million pound question. And the pain that she is going through, I believe me and you can feel that pain.
Absolutely.
Look at what is happening to our people in southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. The British, under this Queen Elizabeth, sold us. Do you know what it means to sell a people? They sold us to the French. They sold us to the French. And today, they are killing those whom you people were being given the powers to prepare them towards independence, you did not prepare them towards that independence. You literally sold them to your partners in crime, the French, and they are killing those people today. This woman that is dying today, this war that is going on in Ambazonia, has been there for how many years now? This is the 6th year and counting. She was there. Ambazonians have protested in London, has gone to that her palace. They slept there, cried there, that she should go and undo what she did to their people. She never even offered a word. She has never offered a word to the people of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. And then you expect me, as an African, to mourn for you? What for? They say, there is this English word that they say, my brother Komeja, respect is reciprocal. If you don't respect me, I won't respect you. How do you want me to mourn for you? Meanwhile, you have not mourned for Bebe Mata, months-old baby, killed, 12 bullets into her brain. You did not mourn for Bebe Brandy, killed in Boya. You did not mourn for Mami Apia, burnt alive in her house. And you expect me to mourn for you? How do you expect me to mourn for you? As we are talking, they killed a school child yesterday in Boya. Why? Because he refused to hand over his phone. This thing, they call it mobile phone, personal handset. Why should a police want to look into my phone without any warrant of search? And then you, this woman, you want me to cry for you? I won't mourn for you. Our children have not gone to school for the past 6 years and counting. No word coming from the British monarch. They sold us, literally sold us to the French. And then she dies. We are waiting that people are waiting that they should mourn her. I even read in one forum that we should write a letter of condolence and even give a day lockdown to mourn Queen Elizabeth. I said to myself, this person that wrote this nonsense, if you were close to me, I could have hit you with a slap. I'm sorry to say that. It's not normal. The Westerners don't give the true image of Africa to their European brothers. You there, Comrade, I believe you have met white people or colleagues at your workplace. They will ask you, have you do you people have you live with elephants now? Have you seen lion? This. Meanwhile, since I was born, I've never seen an elephant. I've never seen a lion. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much talking.
In fact, talking about that, I saw the elephants and lions only here in the US. So again, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. Those are her names. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor. What is her legacy in Africa? Again, let me remind us that it was an Englishman. That Englishman's name that everybody knows is William Shakespeare. When we were in St. Augustine, some of us, it is said that there's a student who was trying to pronounce the word Shakespeare and he called it Shakespeare. You wouldn't blame him. His English is first language.
Yeah.
English is my first talk. No, we would only learn and learn now. So Mr. Shakespeare is famous for have said that the evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. I'm sure he wasn't just talking about men. I'm sure that could apply also to Queen Elizabeth. So, judging from that, you can see that 70 years of history cannot just be swept under the rug like that. 70 years of history, as long this lady has been, as long as some of our parents have been alive. And to what you were saying, even, and you hear that from Malema, even just to acknowledge this, just to acknowledge, she didn't acknowledge that. Some have even gone as far as, nowadays calling for reparations to be paid. Yeah, I know some will be like, that's extreme, that's extreme. African Americans have been asking for reparations in the US over slavery. What about Africans? Is that too much to ask? Why is it that when it comes to other ethnic groups, it's okay, but when it comes to Africans, it suddenly is too much? Even just acknowledging, is 70 years too long for somebody to acknowledge that something went wrong? Even for the people that want to be so soft on her, 70 years? That's almost a century for those mathematicians out there. It's almost a century. Think, my brothers and sisters in Africa, think about this well.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to come in to say, listen, when you look at history, Comrade Jav, we need to look at history in a different perspective as Africans. They said they abolished slave trade. They did not abolish slave trade. They did not abolish slave trade. They literally paid reparation to slave traders to stop their trading. They did not abolish slave trade. The British paid reparations to the traders, not to us, the people who were being molested, who were being sold as slaves. They did not pay the reparations to us. They paid the reparations to their traders.
Yep.
That is why today you will hear people say Liverpool Football Club, and you will see Africans, they are there clapping Liverpool, Liverpool, Liverpool. It is the money they sold our brothers and sisters, our forefathers, that literally is sponsoring Liverpool Football Club today. The Barclay Premier League, English Premier League, they call it Barclay Premier League. The bank Barclay. Where did the money come from? Where did the money come from?
Correct.
How many African countries have the Western world, England in particular, paid reparations to? How many? That is the questions that us as Africans should be asking ourselves. How
Talking
many?
about payments. I don't know if I can find the video here, but there is a grandma from, I call him grandma because we all respect our Africa. We respect age. So there's our grandma from Kenya. Her name is Muthoni Matenge. Grandma Muthoni Matenge is an independence fighter. An independence fighter who is challenging Queen Elizabeth. It's important to hear what this lady said. She said, "Let Elizabeth bring what belongs to me. No middlemen in between." This woman knows economics, eh? This our grandma already knows economics. Grandma is very insistent. No middlemen in between. Let the compensation come directly to me. Yes, grandma is adamant. Let me see if I can find that. Go ahead, Don Pasho. Let me see if I can find the
Yes,
video.
when you see people like us talking like this, there is this their thievery in Europe, in the Western world, they will tell you when they do bribery and corruption, they will say it is a lobbying. When they are doing bribery, they call it lobby. In the Western world, they openly call their bribe, their thievery, bribery. They call it lobbying. But in Africa, how do we call it? How do we call it in Africa? They say you are a thief. They call it bribe. They call it corruption.
Right.
But in the Western world, they even have agencies doing lobbying. That's doing the carrying out the corruption.
Correct.
They have agencies for that. But you will never see a lobbying agency in Africa because they have termed it corruption. They have termed it bribery.
Yes. Yes.
Those words exist in Africa. But in the Western world, they will call it lobbying. But
over here, it's more like legalized bribery.
Yes, it's legalized bribery. It's legalized bribery. So we are talking and laughing like this, but it is a sad situation for us as Africans. It is a sad situation for us in Africa. Let's look at Nigeria today. Every bit of Nigeria was the British. They decided to literally suffer the Nigerians. Nigeria is the greatest economy in Africa, but Nigeria counts as one of the poorest countries in Africa. Nigeria has close to Nigeria's unemployment rate is it's worse than that of any country.
Yes.
The number of students, of children, let me not say students, children that are not going to school surpasses that of 3 African countries put together. Meanwhile, Nigeria has Africa's biggest natural resources. And then, where are we headed to? They steal all the money. It is there. Where that woman that has died and they're telling us to mourn for her, the money is there. It's there. This, when you want to know about the world's corruption, you look at this guy Nnamdi Kanu, who was fighting the Biafra war, who was the leader for the Biafrans. He had a British passport and a Nigerian passport, but he was abducted in Kenya, and instead for them to send him, he didn't know. They knew he was spending his life, but in the UK. The UK government connived with Kenya. They sent him. He is in jail. Where? In Nigeria. How can you arrest a British citizen and send him to another country? Look at the world today.
Talking about arresting people and sending people to another country. Are we Amazonians? Does that not ring a bell with us? Does that not ring a bell? Like, exactly. We know what happened. We don't need to say it. We know what happened. So, and all of this is still at the foot of the West, and the fact that they make us feel inferior. The rules apply only to us. They don't apply to them. Can you imagine an American being, sent from a different country who has dual citizenship and being sent to a different, the American with the right color? I mean, can you imagine such a thing happening?
With the right color.
Exactly. Yes, with the right color. So I mean, yeah, it's very, very unfortunate what is happening to us. And the sad part is that you're seeing it is these African leaders from particularly these countries that you are talking about. Uhuru Kenyatta in Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta, for all the hula baloo issue that happened in Kenya over the election, yes, it wasn't perfect, but they are making some strides, right? Okay, at the end of the day, your Supreme Court unanimously made a decision that William Ruto is the president. Uhuru Kenyatta has not been able to pick up the phone or even go on national TV and congratulate William Ruto, his own deputy president, right? Who is now president-elect, right? Who ran with him, who's been through with him through thick and thin, right? Who has, even if you are not a supporter of Ruto, one thing you will have seen is that Ruto has been very gracious. He's been a class act, first class. But Uhuru draws the line. He would not congratulate his own brother that has won, whether imperfect the election is, right? But he's first to send condolence messages to Buckingham Palace. He doesn't mind that. And you see how we Africans, we treat ourselves? They say charity begins at home. Shouldn't you first of all start by fixing what's in your own house? Try to fix the issue you have with your deputy president, you know, and how you were able to, how somehow you managed to lose the election to your deputy president. You know, in Africa, what is the expectation? That you control the machinery, you control everything, right? When you're in power. Not in Kenya, right? You lost. So, but whatever it is, you would expect him to try to figure out what's happening. How did the Supreme Court come up with a unanimous decision, you know, that Mr. Ruto is the president-elect? No. He's so mad. He's so angry that he can't fix that. He's not willing to sit with his brother and try to reconcile, right? But the first place he sees is let me join the other leaders that are sending messages to Buckingham Palace. I found that very, very interesting.
That is the problem with us Africans. Yeah, let's dive into the letter. As we
Let's
say,
look at the letter.
Yes. As they say, Kenyatta sent a condolence to England, to Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
Let's see what our own Julius Malema sent to them.
The Right Honorable Julius Malema. If there's anybody in Africa that deserves that title, I don't know who is any more than Julius Malema. It's as patriotic as Pan-African as they come. So the EFF statement on the death of Queen Elizabeth, that was dated Thursday, the 8th of September. Thursday, 8th of September 2022. So the letter says, the economic freedom fighters note the death of Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, the Queen of the United Kingdom, and the ceremonial head of state of several countries that were colonized by the United Kingdom. Elizabeth ascended to the throne in 1952, as I already noted, 1952, when some of our parents were barely just born. Reigning for 70 years as the head of an institution built up, sustained and living off a brutal legacy of dehumanization of millions of people across the world. Is there any place that we know? Let's talk a little bit about that paragraph. Is there any place in the corners? Let's say the earth was even 4 corners of the earth. Sometimes they say 4 corners of the earth. Is there any place, the 4 corners of the earth, that the British never touched? Is there any place?
No.
They went everywhere.
No. They went everywhere. India, South America, everywhere.
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 Yep. So let's continue. So Malema says, we do not mourn the death of Elizabeth because to us, her death is a reminder of a very tragic period in this country. This country means South Africa, of course, and Africa's history. Britain, under the leadership of the royal family, took over control of this territory that would become South Africa in 1795. Imagine how long. Wow. Yeah. From Batavian control, and took permanent control of the territory in 1806. From that moment onwards, native people of this land have never known peace. Have never. Nor have they ever enjoyed the fruits of the riches of this land. Riches that were and are still and are still utilized for the enrichment of the British royal family and those who look like them. Those who look like them. Don Pasho, any reaction?
Yes, yes, of course. Do you remember the apartheid period in South Africa? Do you know what the whites were doing to black South Africans? Do you know what they did to our brothers and sisters in South Africa? How long did Nelson Mandela spend in jail under the leadership of this same white woman that they want Julius Malema to send condolence message and give it a sweet and coining it with sweet words? How long did Mandela spend in jail under the leadership of this woman? The British are still there. Julius Malema, his party is called Economic Freedom Fighters because they coined something that they have given South Africa, black South Africans, their rights, but they are the ones still controlling the economy of South Africa. Julius Malema says, you will give us back our land without compensation. Comrade Jaff, if I steal your dress, that dress that you are putting on, and I am boasting with it, you say, let me give back your dress. I tell you, you have to compensate me before I give back your dress to you. What belongs to you? You stole the land. Africa was blacks. Africa was for us, the Africans. All Africans are blacks. You came into South Africa, seized their lands, killed them, molested them. Now, when they started fighting for their own rights, you went into war with them for 49 good years, killing them in their own country. And when you saw that you could not defeat them, you said you have given them back their rights in their country. But who owns the economy of South Africa? That is the question. And that is why when I look at the black South Africans, these xenophobic black Africans in South Africa, I feel pity for them. How can you be pushing out your fellow black brothers, claiming that they have come and collected your jobs? You want, in your own country, you want to be a worker instead of being a job creator. You need to be employing those people. You are in your country. How many companies in South Africa are being run by black South Africans? How many? How many banks in South Africa are being owned by black South Africans? And then Queen Elizabeth is dead. The whites in South Africa, where are they from? Where are they from? Are they not British? Are they not British? When Julius Malema says, go back to your country, they call him a xenophobic person. No. You stole the land from them. You forced them and seized their land. It belongs to them. Give it back to them. You were not there. You were not born there. Give what belongs to Caesar, like they say in their own words. Give what belongs to Caesar to Caesar. It is our land. We are Africans. It is for us. That is why at times I even ask this question in my head. These are our brothers that are in America. They call themselves African Americans. They boast they are African Americans. Meanwhile, they have never seen the African territory. They don't know anywhere in Africa, but they call themselves African Americans. It's not by color that you are an African. Go there and see for yourself. I was so mad at time. There was a time I was very mad because I watched a video that was running on a challenge on TikTok and Instagram. These African, so-called African Americans, whatever they're calling themselves, that they want to test African food. Some were putting our fufu corn and okra in their mouth, spitting it out. Some would eat egusi. I was like, these people, what? Do you know what your grandparents, your great grandparents went through before you being born there today? If you know the history, you will not be there. You will not be there. You will pack your bus home. That is what they don't teach. They don't teach their history. The African history. They don't teach it in schools in Europe and America. They don't teach it because they know the evil they did to us. They know the evil that they did to us. It's sad, my brother.
Yeah, it's very, very sad, in fact. Very, very sad. And you can see the length of time that this has been, and you can see that this is something that is still very fresh. You know, these are wounds that are still very fresh in the minds and the hearts and the bodies of the South Africans. This is very fresh. It's not long ago since apartheid ended. We all know the story. It's not long. So the letter continues. From 1811, when Sir John Cradock declared war against the Amakosa in the Zouwveld, in what is now known as the Eastern Cape, until 1906, when the British crushed the Bambatha Rebellion, our interaction with Britain under the leadership of the British royal family has been one of pain and suffering, of death and disposition, and of dehumanization of African people. Dehumanization of African people. We remember how Nzele died in the aftermath of the 5th Frontier War, how King Hinsa was killed like a dog on the 11th of May 1835 during the 6th Frontier War, and had his body mutilated and his head taken to Britain as a trophy. His head taken to Britain as a trophy. That says it all. That says it all. How many? And this is not the first. Of recent, did we not see Patrice Lumumba's tooth? Patrice Lumumba's tooth being brought back to Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. After how long? Why were you keeping a man's tooth? Are we that scary? Are blacks that scary that after you kill, you got to keep their tooth? I mean, do you know of any person that is Caucasian? Because we always call him white. There's nothing, nobody's white, nobody's black. It's, Caucasian. Do you know of a Caucasian person who got killed and his head taken as a trophy, especially to an African country, and kept there for 50, 60, 70 years? And then suddenly we go and plead with them, and then they bring it to us, and we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to organize, cry die or come together. People, if you're in Cameroon or Nigeria, you wear ashwabi. You're supposed to wear ashwabi, and you come for this. I mean, this is dehumanizing. That's why when such a thing happens, like the passing of Queen Elizabeth, it's a time for Africans to take stock and think. Go back to your history. Go back. It is often said that those who fail to learn the lessons of history would repeat them, the same mistakes. Why is it that we have been dehumanized this way, and we have in a way come to be accepting of it? Why is that? What's the reason? For those of us that are even in the West, that travel to the West for greener pastures and all that, don't we see that it is still it's still part of the same pattern? It's the same thing. Why are you leaving your country? It is because the Westerners, with their neo-colonialism, are still there trying to perpetuate the same dehumanization through the leaders that we have there now. This is something that we cannot escape from. It is everywhere. Francophone countries, Anglophone countries, Lusophone countries, or all the phones that PLO Lumumba calls, all the phones. Nobody is escaping from this dehumanization. So the case of Elizabeth Windsor, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, the Queen of England, it's time for us to sit and think. Again, this death of King Hinsa, for those of us who are not familiar with South African history, South Africans of the Xhosa tribe consider Hinsa as a, it's a hero, it's a paramount chief. If you are from, Amazonia, like those of us, we are familiar with paramount chiefs. The Fononto, for example, is a paramount chief. So can you imagine if the British came and took the Fononto, cut off his head, mutilated him, threw his body all over the place. And then later on, when their own monarchy, in Fon we say disappears. Fons don't die. They say disappears. So theirs die, ours disappear. So so when theirs is dead, we are now supposed to find religion, quote unquote. We are now supposed to, send condolences. Like we will see in this letter, towards the end of the letter, spoiler alert. Malema would be asking us to think, did she as much as even acknowledge this for 70 years? That is the question. Like her, hate her. You have to live with that. She's gone. She would have had a chance to do that. She didn't use it. She was busy doing what I'm seeing everybody around the world jumping to give her accolades for. They call her duty. Every time I hear is she did her duty. Her duty. She's very duty conscious. Even African presidents have picked up that. Oh, she's very duty conscious. Duty conscious. Duty conscious. Duty conscious. To who? For who? Duty conscious. Well, I guess she's duty conscious to the British in colonialism, in dehumanization, in dispossession, in pain, in suffering. I give her that. Duty conscious to the later. I give her that. Yep. Gotta be fair to her, right? She's very duty conscious. But for us as Africans, it's time to take stock and think. Even for those that are admirers of this royal family, gotta take stock and think. Go back and read the history. That is what Malema is trying to teach us here. To go back into the history. Sometimes they make us as Africans think as if there was no African history before colonialism. Like we didn't exist. Like they said they came to civilize us, right? They came to civilize us, right? That's what he said. They came to civilize us, right? And then they came and saw sculptures and statues that they themselves couldn't make. That's why they stopped, right? You don't, in where I come from, I don't get people stealing something they have that is valueless. I don't know people who do that. People steal something they don't have, something that they see value in. So these people that were uncivilized had all these wonderful statues that you have stolen till today, and you are still keeping them.
Do you remember the Afuakom? Do you still remember the Afuakom? That is stole from the people of Com. And it was forced to manifest. They say black magic does not work. It manifested on them. They could not keep it in their what so-called they call museums or what. It could not stay there. It said, take me back home, take me back home, take me back home. And they took him back home. If they could make those statues, will they go to Africa to steal those our own statues? If they could make it, they say they are telling us that they came to civilize us, like you said. How can you come to civilize a people that were already doing what you claiming to be civilized could not do? You claiming to be civilized, you could not do what the uncivilized people were already doing. These people literally came and delayed and diverted our civilization. They came, delayed, and diverted our civilization. You speak English. How many white people speak Lamso? They came into my country. Instead of learning my language, they imposed their language. Do you think the number of Christians that are in Africa today, do you think those people just embraced Christianity because they loved Christianity? Do you think our forefathers embraced Christianity because they loved Christianity? They were being beaten, flogged publicly. If you talk bad about the Bible, you'll be flogged publicly. They were forced to carry the Bible wherever they are going to. They were forced to pray to their God. In Africa, our forefathers, each family had their gods that they went and they prayed for successes. Alive. Prayed for successes. Alive. Not the Bible telling us that there is a place called heaven. You will die and go and enjoy there. But them, the white people, they are building mansions, making all sorts of how can I put it? Cars, flamboyant cars every day, producing. iPhone 12, iPhone 13 Pro, everything is here on earth. But they tell us to die before we will go and see our own posterity. No, I should not die first. Let my own come here. Let me also enjoy it here. I don't want to die before I go and see what is there. Because I've never seen anybody that was dead, went there, came back and told us that that place fine, no, my brother, no, I've not seen it. I've not seen it. We speak different languages. I speak literally 4 of the Western languages. If you enter an office there in America, you speak Lamso, they will kick you out. They'll kick you out. If you go, for example, in Ambazonia, a white man comes into your office, you speak only in Lamso, the white man will be forced to learn that Lamso because he knows that if he does not learn that Lamso, he will not be able to do what he has come there to do. These British people, what they did to our forefathers is unforgivable. It is unforgivable. And they are so evil in such a way that they hide their tracks. They hide their tracks. They were the slave dealers. But where did the slaves end? United States of America. They carried them, went because they were the United States was their colony. So they took them, went and dumped them there. When America now was fighting for their independence, they carried the remaining one, went and threw in Latin America. And then in their country, no, you cannot find people agitating that we were brought here as slaves. Our forefathers were slaves. No, it does not exist in Britain. But who were the slave masters in history? Who were the slave masters? Where were they from? But do they have any trace of their masters, of what they did in their country? And then a queen that participated in the killing of our brothers in South Africa will die. And some Africans will be saying, let us mourn her. How? Somebody that killed my father and that person dies, you tell me to mourn that person? No. No. If there was death after death again, I will still pray for your death. If there was death after death, we as Africans need to sit down, put our heads together. The historians in Africa, legit historians, teach the young people, the young generation, because this our young generation, this generation, we don't know our history. We haven't studied our history. We don't know our history. The old folks. That is why the Westerners have literally fought to keep these old folks leading us in Africa. They have fought to maintain these old people because they want to be manipulating them. Teach them how to respect poverty. Teach them to know poverty. That is why I respect this guy in Nigeria called what's his name? Let me just call the one that I can pronounce well, Shore.
Yeah.
Because he is literally telling Nigerians what they need to know, what they need to do. The cabal that is leading Nigeria. The same thing this guy in Uganda, Bobby Wine, is doing. The same thing Julius Malema in South Africa is doing. If we, the young people, don't rise up to kick out these old people, these are people that started being leaders at their youthful age. Buhari ruled Nigeria at the age of 32. And today, he is claiming he's 75 or 74 years. And he's still ruling Nigeria. Where are the youths in Nigeria? Where are the youths? Tinubu is coming to rule Nigeria. He has been minister at the age of 30-something. And today, at the age of 80-something, he is still coming to rule Nigeria. Where are the youths? They told us youths are the leaders of tomorrow. Where is that tomorrow? When will be that tomorrow? When? Must we kill ourselves to take what is rightfully ours? Must we kill ourselves to take what is rightfully ours? And all this is being coined by the West.
Exactly right. And if I may add, Queen Elizabeth has a lot to do with that for 70 good years. So let's continue with the letter. It was also the British royal family that sanctioned the actions of Cecil John Rhodes, who plundered this country. By this country means South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. It was it was a British royal family that benefited from the brutal mutilation of the people of Kenya, whose valiant resistance to British colonialism invited vile responses from Britain. In Kenya, Britain built concentration camps and suppressed with such inhumane brutality, the Mau Mau rebellion, killing Dedan Kimathi on the 18th of February 1957. While who was in power? While Elizabeth was already queen.
Yes.
For those who are not familiar with Kenyan history, the Mau Mau was, a group that was fighting. I consider them freedom fighters. What else? It's their land, right? Somebody's calling them terrorists. What's a terrorist? It's their land. You met them there. So the British put down the Mau Mau rebellion in a very brutal way and built concentration camps. Everybody else talks about, like I mentioned, concentration camps we always hear, but about the Jews. We don't talk a lot about what happened in Kenya. Is it that a concentration camp, it's only a concentration camp if you are the right color or what? This happened. There are pictures of this, guys. There are pictures of this, my dear African brothers and sisters. Go back and see what happened in Kenya while this woman was in charge. It is not ancient history. Jomo Kenyatta was sent to prison. Why? Because they accused him of being part of the Mau Mau. I believe Jomo Kenyatta spent about 70 years in prison doing hard labor Just like Nelson Mandela, who also went to Robben Island, doing a hard labor over there. And you know,
Just like Robert
I mean,
Mugabe
just
of
like Robert
Zimbabwe.
Mugabe. Yes, and you can see by the time Kenyatta was coming out of that place, he was looking so. I mean, he was advanced in age still, but that didn't help him. You know, you can imagine how much
And today,
how
his
much it
great
wrecked his
grandson,
health.
his great grandson is sending condolence messages to
Imagine.
to that same queen that
It's
molested
not even his great grandson. It is his son. It is not his great. Uhuru is his son. Uhuru is in all the pictures. Is his son.
you are sending condolence messages
Yes,
to
it is.
somebody that
It's
molested
amazing. It's amazing.
your father.
It's amazing. Yes,
No,
it's
if you
amazing.
do that to
It's
my
amazing.
father, you die. Like I said before, if there is death
Yep.
after death, I will still pray for that death.
Malema has an interesting way he ends the letter, so he will probably speak just in the same language that you have there. So let's continue with the letter. So this family plundered India. We forget India, even though we are trying to, as Pan Africans, we're trying to focus on Africa, but India, Indians will connect with this. They know what I'm talking about. You know, there was a quote unquote British Indian that was just running for president and lost the prime minister. So Indians know what I'm talking about. So the family, and some people are saying that he lost the election. Rishi Sunak lost the election partly because of the way he looked. Hey, one doesn't know, right? Hey, that's the way it is. So the family
Yeah.
plundered India. Yes, this is Britain. This is not a coincidence, right? We're talking about Indian American, sorry, a British Indian that is running
Yeah.
to be the prime minister, not somewhere else, right? Not in Kenya, not in Uganda, in Britain. It's quite an irony. So the family plundered India via what? The East India Company. East India Company. It took over control and oppressed the people of the Caribbean island. That's another area that people don't talk about a lot. The British
Yeah.
did just as terrible, dehumanization. Don't we remember Bob Marley? Don't Bob Marley
Well,
sing about all these things or what happened to them?
yeah.
Yeah. Is there a place on earth that the British didn't touch, as we keep saying? Is there any place they didn't touch? Every place they touch, they dehumanize. So, and oppress the people of the Caribbean island. Their thirst for riches led the famine that caused millions of people to die in Bengal. Millions of people in Bengal. And their racism led to the genocide of Aboriginal people in Australia. Any thoughts on that, Dan Pasha?
Yeah, I will come in to say the British, my brother. I have been opportuned to work where the British, their citizens come. The place was more of a bridge. Anybody that knows Mallorca knows that Magaluf is for the British. You know, if you know Spain, Mallorca, Magaluf is for the Brits. That one is not something for. I was humiliated, not once, not twice, not thrice. Going on a table, I was working in a bar, going to serve drinks. Another person took their command, since so I prepared the drinks. The table service was not there. I took the drink to the table. Do you know what that guy told me? I don't collect drinks from a black monkey. I was like, what? Openly, in public, I don't collect drinks from a black monkey. When we talk of racism, brother, if you have not been with these people, you will not know how racist they are. Those who are in Britain watching this program, they can relate. They can relate to what I'm saying. We as Africans, we are the most welcoming people in the world. We are the most welcoming people in the world. We open our arms. You come in. Britain has a gold mine. a gold reserve without a single gold mine in their
Exactly.
country.
Exactly.
Britain has a gold reserve without a single gold mine in their country. Where did they get the gold from? We open our hands
Talking
as
about
Africans.
gold. Talking about gold, Don Pasho. I had been to London some time back, 2007, and I happened to go to Buckingham Palace. And what I noticed on the outside was a whole lot of gold. And then talking about Queen Elizabeth, I think her crown has a whole lot of it also. So to your point, where did it come from? Where
It,
did it come from?
it is from
Exactly.
us.
To your point,
Why?
the
Why did?
crown she
Why did they?
wears.
Why were they? Why
Where
were they
did it come
fighting?
from?
Why were they fighting to push away black South Africans out of their own country? Why were they fighting? What was the aim of that apartheid? What was the aim? Gold reserves in South Africa. That is the simple answer. Gold reserves in South Africa. There is no continent in the world that it is as open and welcoming as Africans. There is none, no set of people, even there in the United States of America, even here in Europe, we are still the ones opening our hands, doing what they will not do. I work in a bar. When they say your shift starts from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., when it clocks 3 p.m., if that person was putting a drink to offer a customer, he puts it down and tells the next person, my shift is over. But an African will not do that. If there are people, customers, the African will serve them till the place is calm and he will say, okay, let me sign out. No, the whites don't believe in that. They don't believe in that. They came in, we welcomed them. They started by buying our brothers and sisters forcefully, arresting them, forcing them into ships, killing them in water, taking them to Europe. And then their own forefathers are not wicked to put a curse on them for carrying out such acts. Only the forefathers of Africans are wicked to pour curses on their children that did nothing to them, that did nothing to them. And a whole headed Africans sit there in churches. Some people will come and say, yeah, your mother that gave birth to you is a witch. You should not take care of your mother, and you are there not taking care of your mother, taking money and one giving birth to that pastor, that prophet. It's a sad situation. It is a sad situation. You will sit. Somebody will come with a book. To me, that Bible is a psychological novel to help people, to help groom people. Stories that will help to groom somebody. Like in philosophy, in psychology, in step one, they will tell you when somebody has a problem, they will telling your story. I, as a psychologist, when I watch you, because I will take some time to observe, and then I will first of all coin a story that will suit your story to make you to expose yourself. That is what the Bible is doing. That is what the Bible is doing. So the Bible is just a book to help groom people. But if it comes to spiritualism, our forefathers had the best spiritualism, protecting us, praying for us to succeed, praying for us to get riches. praying for us to have good health, not these ones that will tell me, Don Pasho, to die and go and get that wealth somewhere else called heaven. No, I don't want to die. I will not die before I get it. Let me get it here. I need it here. Here. And how can Africans need to really sit and ask themselves these questions? How can you own 30% of the world's natural resources and you are the poorest continent in the world? Gaddafi asked them in a United Nations summit, how can you use a piece of paper called money to come and buy gold, buy petrol? No, we as Africans, we will make our own money with gold so that they have devalued all African currencies. There is no African currency that can compare with pounds. There is no African currency that can compare with dollar. There is no African currency that can compare with a euro. They have devalued their currency. Meanwhile, they are the ones having the natural resources. And then we as Africans, we cannot stand up. We cannot rise up. From the Jaff, let me be honest. If the world stands today and say, okay, let all of us Africans, let's go back to Africa. Europeans stay in Europe. Americans remain in America. And then we see who will beg who for what. We see who will beg who for what. Just Russia, that does not have up to one of what Africa has in terms of oil, is dealing with the Western world alone. Tell me, if Africa rises up, what will happen to them?
Absolutely. So the issue with Africa, yes, the issue with Africa is always about unity. How is it that we can unite and marshal all these resources, both human and natural resources, together? So that's all, it's a challenge. So continue with the letter. Elizabeth Windsor, during her lifetime, never acknowledged these crimes that Britain and her family, in particular, perpetrated across the world. In fact, she was a proud flag bearer of these atrocities during her reign. Important to note that. Malema says she was a proud flag bearer of these atrocities. Because during her reign, that happened during her reign, when the people of Yemen rose to protest against British colonialism in 1963, Elizabeth ordered a brutal suppression of that uprising. So that is the reason that she's saying that Malema is saying that he was a proud flag bearer of these atrocities, because when the people of Yemen rose to protest against British colonialism, 1963, Elizabeth ordered a brutal suppression of that uprising. This is very common. It's not something that only the people of Yemen can relate to this. All over Africa, all over the world, we're very, very, very conversant with this. Then he continues to say, during her 70-year reign as queen, she never acknowledged the atrocities that her family inflicted on native people that Britain invaded across the world. Many native people, we already talked about the case even of Australia.
Yeah.
She willingly benefited from the wealth that was attained from the exploitation and murder of millions of people across the world. The British family stands on the shoulders, of millions. They didn't mean one. Millions of slaves who were shipped away from the continent to serve the interests of racist white capital accumulation, at the center of which lies the British royal family.
Each
Don Pasho,
slave
any
trader,
reaction?
each slave trader paid a commission to the British royal family during the period of slavery and slave trade.
Wow.
Each slave trader had a commission. That means the British royal family literally was the one encouraging slavery and slave trade. Because when the traders go, they bring the slaves, they give the royal family a commission off from their sales. Whatever they sell, they have a percentage to give the royal family. You sell us like goods. You sell us like goods, and you want me today to come up and mourn. For who? My forefathers. People need to really, I don't know how, people need to picture what our people went through. I don't know if you have gone to Victoria, you have ever visited um, the sea, the area where they used to transport our slaves through the Victoria Seaport. Have you ever visited that area? Have you gone to the gate of no return? To be honest with you, if you enter there, you will feel differently as soon as you enter the gate of no return. My brother, I don't know if you have always have that goosebump that you feel like your pulse, your body is, you feel it. You feel it deep in you, you feel it. When you cross through that gate of no return, then look at if you are feeling that today, when there is nothing like that again existing, think of what our forefathers went through. Just crossing that gate, knowing that it is over. Knowing that it is over. It is sad.
Very sad.
And the royal family was an accomplice. And like Julius Malema says, they did not even acknowledge this. Elizabeth has never even acknowledged that they did something wrong. Not to talk of apologizing. What they did was compensating the slave traders not to trade in slaves again, not compensating those who were being sold as slaves. Africans are the only set of people that in America, United States of America, they said they have stopped slavery, but they never gave them any land to settle in. They never gave them anything. But these people struggled by themselves, built a state, had their own bank, had everything. What did the Americans do? They saw that these people are going somewhere. They attacked that state, killed our brothers, burnt down the bank, killed. And then you tell me tomorrow that I should love these people. How? How should I show love to you when you don't give me love? Have you watched the videos of our brothers and sisters in the Congo, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in their gold mines, how they dig their gold? Have you seen those pictures or videos, how they suffer? If I am a gold digger, will I not be a rich person? Should I not be a rich person if I am a gold digger? Something that is giving wealth. Then I go, I suffer, I dig, and I'm still poor. Africans, let's think. I go down, I dig it out, I give you, you go and sell and come back and pay me for digging something. You are paying me for digging what is wealth. Africans, Let's think. Let's think. Let's think.
Yes.
Let's
Yeah,
put
just
on
to
our
add to
thinking.
that, one of the things that we are hoping that VMC, Venbati Media Channel, and all these discussions would evoke is critical thinking. Critical thinking. It's one of the things that we need to. I believe our forefathers and foreparents knew that, but it looks as if we are maybe losing that. Maybe it's the result of the colonialism, slavery, and inferiority complex that we are going to. I'm not sure, because whenever somebody is questioning anything that is considered mainstream belief in Africa, people always look at him in a way. Whether you are questioning religion, whether you are questioning the current economic system, whether you are questioning, there are some people that find, they just want to go with the Western wind. They just want to swim with the Western wind. So one of the reasons we are doing this is not that we have all the answers, we know everything, is that we're trying to help us to start thinking critically about what is happening to us. Like Don Pasha is saying there, how is it that we can own gold but yet we are poor? But the person who comes with a piece of paper is rich? It doesn't. It shouldn't. It should be backward, right? It should be the person with paper is poor. We the gold is the rich one. It should not be that we borrow from them. No, they should be borrowing from us, if anything, and be paying back with interest. In on top of the fact that they owe Africa and Africans huge reparations, huge, and they are trying as much as possible to get away from this subject. And unfortunately, some of our African brothers, especially those are in the ruling class, that has not yet come to their, or they don't want to think about, for whatever reason that is to their benefit now. That is not it's the younger people that are rising up there and questioning this and questioning it seriously. As we all know, the future belongs to the younger people, whether we like it or not. It's just that way. If you doubt what I'm saying, ask Elizabeth. Ask her. The future belongs to the younger people. So this program is really geared towards trying to awake those younger people to start talking about, like Don Pasha was talking about, the younger people should rise up in this continent and take over and fix these problems. That cannot happen until we start thinking critically. We start thinking critically. Yeah. So I think we can conclude now, Don Pasha. And
Yeah, thank you very much, Comrade Jaff, for really coming into this program today for us to analyze this mm, letter and this legacy of. I find it difficult to call her a queen, to analyze her legacy in Africa. And for us, our dear African brothers and sisters, our dear fathers and mothers, this is time for us all to rise up, sit, ask ourselves these critical questions. What is happening to us in Africa? How can Africa has 70 or 80% of the world's natural resources and it is poor? How? Well, I think we have come to the end of this program. Before I give my concluding words, I don't know, Comrade Jaff, do you have anything more to say before we end the program?
no, I just want to thank our viewers. Apologize for starting it late. We had some technical issues, and also thank our technical team, especially Fatih, who is all the way in uh, in uh, in Turkey. Turkey. It's not Turkey anymore. Turkey. I want to thank Fatih especially because it's late at night over there, and he stayed up all night just to help our team so that we can deal with the technical challenges that we have. So, Fatih, thank you so much. And other than that, thank you, my African brothers and sisters. And for that world, those who are watching us the world over, thank you for watching. And please stay tuned. Stay tuned. We will be coming up with such thought-provoking discussions again. Like, Don Pacho says it clearly. This is the fearless show. So we will continue making sure that we are put in a situation where we have to think. If you don't want to think, we will force you to think. So other than that, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And goodbye.
Okay, thank you, fellow viewers. Thank you for watching us. Like you all know, this is Vembati Media Center. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram. You can search us just by typing Vembati Media Center. Stay tuned, like Comrade Jav said, stay tuned to this media because we are going to be coming up with more interesting topics that will make you understand why it is the best Pan-African television that is coming up now in the world. For tonight, it is a goodbye for us. Ciao.
Bye bye. In Banso, they say Abeni.